Discovering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.
Hi, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Autistic Delicatessen, your food and drinks podcast. I'm your host, Larrnell. I have Shalese back on the show, so it's good to see her. And today's guest is Carley Dummitt, a dedicated storyteller and advocate who explores the full spectrum of human experience from joy to sorrow through her work. As a director and producer of Surviving the Spectrum, a groundbreaking documentary on autism and suicidality in Oklahoma, she sheds light on critical yet often overlooked conversations. She also hosts Unmasking Autism with the Autism Foundation of Oklahoma, a podcast that amplifies the voices of those across the autistic spectrum. We are pleased to have her as a guest on this podcast. And Carley, welcome to the Autistic Delicatessen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
So, Carley, your documentary about just different people on the spectrum and facing suicidality is very intriguing. And I'm just wondering, when you have those episodes of suicidality, do you ever think about food in that equation, or when you have depressive states or anything?
So I don't know if I'm thinking about food. I definitely throughout my life, I guess autistic people can have dietary sensitivities or like weird food habits. Sometimes when I've been in a depressive episode, I'll either like just not be hungry at all, and then other times, I'll want to eat my feelings. So I definitely have, and I still do, go through patterns of like food. I don't know what the right word is, oddities in terms of like diet, but the more aware of them I have become, the better they are to like be managed. If I find myself overeating, I can stop myself and be like, why am I eating so much? And then if I'm like, okay, well, I had a bad day or I've been really stressed out, then I can sort of like bring up my awareness to that. Okay, well, this is maybe I'm eating my emotions right now. So maybe I should chill out. Or, if I'll do, I do that autistic thing just normally. And I say it's an autistic thing just because I've spoken to other autistic people about it. But if I don't eat immediately when I get up in the morning and I just start consuming caffeine, I can sort of just push through that like initial hunger to the point where it'll be like later in the evening and I'll just realize, oh, I haven't eaten all day. So I should probably do that. So I wouldn't say my dietary habits are normal ever. But when I have been in an active state of deep depression and like suicidal tendencies, I don't think I'm thinking about food, if that makes sense.
That's kind of interesting, Carley. So I'm just wondering, going into your documentary, what got you to be able to want to film this and want to be able to talk about this? Because I know, like, offhand, we were talking about how this is not commonly talked about, and it's interesting the rates of suicide that are in the autistic community. Because when people talk about autism, they just talk about it on the fact of like, oh, you're autistic. And that being more of like, well, let's focus on that instead of all the other sides that go into being autistic.
Yeah. I mean, this came about in my 20s. I did the whole acting thing, and a part of that was learning how to be a filmmaker. And so I made some short films and always really had a passion for that and an interest. And I've always been a creative type person. And at the end of 2023, we were doing a suicide prevention campaign at AFO. My colleague and I, Shandy, who did that campaign together, we were like, oh, well, what if we had to do a community event? And so we were like, oh, well, what if we do a film screening? And so we began looking for a documentary that talked about this subject. And we could find documentaries that talked about suicide. We could find documentaries that talked about autism, but we couldn't really find anything that like focused in on the issues of suicidality and mental health strictly in the autism population. So I was like, well, I know how to make a movie. And our board chair at the time is also a filmmaker and owns his own production company. So all the pieces kind of just fell into place. And so I began pitching it. And Southern Plains Tribal Health Board liked the idea and gave us our initial funding to go into production. And yeah, that's how the film became a reality. And something that is really special to me since I moved to Oklahoma and began working at AFO, I have a very strong community of autistic and neurodivergent peers, which is something I have never had before in my life. So being able to have the people to participate in the film was also very easy because thankfully I have a big community of autistic and neurodivergent people around me, which I think all autistic people should try to seek out somehow. And through the research, learning that autism is very closely linked with my other co-occurring mental health issues that I've struggled with and suicide in itself, it helped click a lot of my life into place. And it's a topic that I think more people should talk about. A lot of people still want to just focus on autistic kids. And I think some people forget that autistic kids grow up to be autistic adults if they're lucky. And eventually those autistic adults become autistic elderly people. And so I think conversations around the realities of what it's like to be autistic are important to have.
So Shalese, like with this subject of autism and suicidality, I know that even us not just being co-hosts but being friends too as well. I know you had your own personal things with some triggers that do
hmm
you want to talk a little bit about that? Okay.
Yeah, I've struggled off and on with ideations for as long as I can remember. My very first memory of SI, suicide ideation, is when I was 8 years old and I was being bullied really badly in school, and I just didn't see any way out of it. On top of that, my family, we were having personal problems with our family, having to move around a lot, and it was just a lot of chaos, and I just felt like the only way to get out of that feeling of feeling like I hated my own existence and feeling unworthy and to escape the torture that was my childhood, I wanted to end it. Like I thought ending it was the best way. And then, I've had experiences like this as an adult when I struggled to get employment, when I struggled to, you know, get through college. Like I've had moments of wanting to end it because I thought that ending it was better than living with myself, living with, these memories that I had, this trauma that I had, and having to look at myself in the mirror every day was a torture. And it's just like, I think to myself, ending it, I'd be better off not being here because at least I don't have to deal with this earth. I don't have to deal with being here. I don't have to deal with living with myself and these memories that I have. Like, that's just what I thought, you know.
And just to cut in there too, Carley, it's interesting to be an autistic person and having a friend and then knowing that they go through this type of stuff and then seeing it from like the outside right there. Because I'm autistic too as well, but I just don't go through those type of like triggers and those things right there.
Well, so I think something that's interesting about suicidality statistics, I mean, I think it's great that you don't have those triggers. Having those triggers, it's definitely not something to like sit around and brag about because, it's like Shalese was just saying, the experience of being bullied and being othered. Those are some of my earliest childhood memories. There's big chunks of my childhood that I think I just decided to black out because they were just memories I didn't want to have because I was bullied so badly. And I think that that is kind of what triggered my suicidality issues, because it really comes from, for me, a like an addiction to like not thinking I'm good enough, right? I'm a freak. Nothing I do is going to make me not a freak. People don't like me. I'm not a good person. I'm never going to be able to fit in. When you're a kid and that's what your external environment is constantly reiterating to you, it gets in there like a little bug, and then it roots and it sets, it's like James and the Giant Peach, it whittles its way all the way down to that pit in your brain, and it's hard to get out. And so I think it's great you don't have those triggers. But what's interesting about the research that's available on autism and suicidality is, so for neurotypical people, the biggest cohort of people that are at risk of killing themselves are white men aged 35 to 45. And then when you drill down into autism, to be a female or AFAB, you're more likely to have suicidality issues. Masking is more detrimental to an AFAB female's autistic person's mental health than it is to a male. Also in autism and mental health and suicidality, the less profound your autism, the higher your chance of having those issues. Yeah.
And just to cut in there, Carley, like this is also just from your research and you talking about your own story. I know we already touched on this a little bit though, but does it affect eating habits? Because I know like autistic people tend to have same foods or tend to like be very picky about food. So does that kind of like go in there a little bit just from your research?
I mean, I have not really drilled down into food habits really. I mean,
Okay.
I know I have, my peculiar way of, I definitely have that thing where I hate listening to people crunch on things around me. I can't, yeah,
Can't can't do the crunch because it triggers you, like just like crunch, like just
I just don't. Yeah, there's just something about it. It's just like it's like nails on a chalkboard. Yeah, I don't know if you have TikTok or see the videos on Instagram or anything of like the rate the spoon or like the rate the silverware, like those autism videos where they're like rate this spoon. But
oh
I definitely have those quirks. Like the silverware needs to feel right for me to
oh
eat with it.
hmm.
I don't know.
Wow, the silverware, like in terms of like, it's not like as much because is it more of like you want to make sure that stuff has to be fully clean and all stuff? Because some parts I get that, but is it more of like a certain way to where it can't have any type of scratches or anything, or just
I just needs to feel right. Like I really can't even describe it to you. Like it just like I like with spoons, for example, I'm glad this is a stereotype because it made me feel like I wasn't crazy.
sure,
But
yeah.
but like, the weight of it, the circularness of the spoon, like it all just needs to like be right. Like, I enjoy the correctness of the feel of my silverware. I don't like people eating off my food for whatever reason. Like even like
Like
my family members, like I can't eat it if you like touch all on my food. Like I no.
now, is it more of like just touching on it or like eating half of it and then giving it to you or something like that?
Yeah, when someone's like, "Oh, let me get some of that," and they just start like eating off your food.
Yeah. Like I'm the type of person is like unless like it's more of like a help yourself thing, I usually don't ask, and I'll usually just have people just like put their hands and just get like some food and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's and that's and I get that though, because when I get food, I'm not trying to be like I'm just like putting my fork into somebody else's food and getting that though. I don't do that. I'm a
Yeah.
person that I get my stuff, all the stuff is on my plate, and that's how it is. That yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like milk. I've always been very weird about milk, for example.
What?
Like milk at other people's houses, I just can't drink it. I don't know why. Even if it's like the same brand of milk that I buy. Actually, so I was saying how I food wise, like quirks or whatever, I can't eat like or I can't drink milk at out of other people's refrigerators.
Me
Like
either.
I don't yeah, see,
Oh, really? Okay.
I like that's what I mean. Like I know it's normal milk. I know it's fine, but
I just can't drink it
I
at all.
can't. Oh, okay. See, I love me some milk, but
Mm.
it's got to be from my fridge. I just
I like that with certain things too.
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. It's weird.
Now, when you drink your milk out of your refrigerator, do you usually have oat milk, or do you have like regular dairy milk or non-dairy milk?
Regular old milk. I
Like,
don't drink any of that nut milk, oat milk, cashew.
Mm.
No milk, just
it,
milk.
it's actually good though, because sometimes the dairy I do have, but it's like for me, it's like ever since I was a kid, I had like soy milk, and then going on to like I do like I do the almond milk now, which is actually good though, the sweetened almond milk. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's what I like. That's the good stuff right there. So
Yeah. I don't like.
And
I
oat
love
milk is
pickles.
good.
What?
Oh,
Oat milk is amazing.
Oh, see, I can't get into it. I
Mm.
can't.
It
I
is.
don't know
It's the
why.
best thing ever. I could
mm.
never get into whole milk though.
Or whole
Yeah,
milk?
no, I got that too. I see. I drink
Yeah.
that 2%.
Yeah. Yeah. This is when, Carly, you're out in Oklahoma when it's like, I'm just gonna go for that regular milk stuff, So yeah, it's like
Oh God.
I'm going to that like farming cow milk and all. So give me some of
Yeah.
that, not that other. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like pickles. I love pickles, but only in certain shapes. I won't eat a pickle chip, but I can eat a pickle spear. And
Okay.
if a pickle goes on my sandwich, the whole sandwich is contaminated because
Mm.
like the
Oh
juice
wow.
Really?
seeps into the bread, and then the whole
I
bread
hate
is
pickles.
pickle. I can't.
I hate pickles too,
You hate
Carly. I
pickles?
do. Yes, I hate them with a
No, see, I
passion.
Uh,
love pickles.
The juice,
I
the
don't mind
texture.
pickles, honestly.
I don't like ketchup either. No.
Yeah,
I,
I don't really eat that much ketchup either. But like tomatoes, same. Like I don't like tomato slices on my sandwiches because they're too wet.
Too wet? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's like
when I get tomatoes
I'm
on a sandwich, I eat it separately for that reason.
no, I have it on the same thing. I'm different than both of you. Then it's like I'm just yeah.
Because the wetness I
Yes,
can't deal with.
Yeah, no, it ruins it all.
I'm
It ruins
okay. I'm okay with the wetness. I'm like I like tomato, lettuce on that all in that order. So yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not me. I can't do it.
Oh yeah.
Messes up the sandwich flow.
Yeah, definitely. Now, let me ask you this, Carly. Like, if you go to a restaurant or go to like a local eatery in Oklahoma, or even like when you're in like Florida or St. Pete or something like that, like, what would be your go-to sandwich, though?
Mm.
Sandwich. See, so sandwich. Oh God, I guess I don't really ever seek out sandwiches. Asian food's my favorite food.
Asian food. Okay. Well, what type of
Yeah.
Asian food?
Any type of Asian food. Thai food's probably number
Ooh.
one.
Mm.
Sushi
Yeah.
number two.
Mm.
Yeah. But I mean Chick-fil-A, you can't really beat Chick-fil-A.
That's some good chicken sandwiches over there. That's some good stuff there. Yeah. I like their
I
fries
like
though. I like their waffle fries though. Yeah.
Vietnamese and
Yeah.
Thai
Here in
or Thai for
Oklahoma.
number one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually had Vietnamese, like me and my older brother, we went to a Vietnamese like place in Tampa though, so that was really good though. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And we also had like one of their I think I also had one of their milks over there. I forgot what it was right there though, but it was like something good. It was like or something like a boba thing or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Which was
boba tea.
Mhm.
yes,
So,
yeah. I like that stuff.
Boba tea.
I like the boba tea stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
addicting.
yeah.
Oh
It
my
is.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you get from a Vietnamese restaurant, try some of that. So
Yeah.
definitely try some of that though. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
I could eat spring rolls every day of my life and be happy.
Oh, spring rolls. Okay, right
Yeah.
then. What about egg rolls?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, egg rolls too. Any fried, rolled up
Yeah.
thing with meat and vegetables in it, I'll eat it. Dip it in some sauce.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
good to go.
Yeah.
Egg roll.
Definitely.
I love the
like,
egg roll.
Yes.
The dough,
Yes, definitely.
the
I like
the
egg.
wrapper of it's the best part though. The crispiness of the wrapper, the
Oh.
egg roll wrapper.
Oh yeah, definitely. Put some soy sauce or duck sauce or like
Yes,
all that type of stuff in
or
there.
the stir fry
That's
sauce,
really.
the brown sauce.
Oh, the
Yeah.
brown sauce. Okay, all right then. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, from the stir fry.
Right there.
So yummy.
I also love all the foods that make your breath stink.
Oh my gosh.
Garlic, onions.
Garlic.
Yeah.
Oh no, for me on my sandwich, onions off. It's like
Oh yeah, no, not me. I'll eat
Gotta have
onion
onions on my
raw.
sandwich. I like my burgers
Yes.
are not complete without onions. Like I gotta have onions on my
Exactly.
hamburger. I gotta have onion, and garlic. I cannot.
Now, but
Now garlic I can have in my stir fry. I can have it elsewhere, but when it comes to my sandwiches, it gotta have onions in it.
Yeah,
to me, it's like, look, like you can do without the onions on sandwiches. Honestly, that's just my personal opinion right there. It's like, yes, like two of you that are not really into tomatoes because of the squishiness, but you're okay with the onions, though. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
come on. It's
I
like,
know. I love this. Like, I don't know why. I just love onions, and they're so good. See, an onion I'll eat in any shape: circle, cut up in a wedge, raw, fried, grilled, sauteed. Onions are good any which way.
But certain onions, it depends and all stuff. But to me, I tend to like, I'm good without the onions and all stuff. All depending. If it's onion bread, okay, I can have that. But otherwise than that, I have my stuff without onions on it. So it's like, that's what it is. That's how I feel, So I'm different than both of you right there. So it's like,
I'll be asking for extra onions on everything.
now how extra, Carley, when you ask like of onions right there, how extra would you ask?
I would like, let me get extra onions. Like if I go to McDonald's and I get like a double cheeseburger, no pickle, I'll be like extra onions. But when I mean extra, I mean extra. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I need to load it up.
When I get my cheeseburger from Shake Shack, I gotta have my onions and my mayo on it.
Oh
yes.
Now mayo I'm okay with. I like mayo on a burger though. But but onions is like take the onions off. Listen, tomato, all that stuff. So
it just adds that extra pizzazz to the burger. It does something to it.
It does.
To me, the lesson tomato does it, not the onions. To me, it's like that's just.
I think
that's
in
my
general,
opinion on that.
In general, beef and onions go together. Like in general, because when I make like a ground beef dish, like let's say I make lasagna or something that has ground beef in it, I have to have onions in it. When I make a pot roast, I gotta put onions in it. Like beef and onions just go. When I make cheesesteaks, same thing. Otherwise, it's not complete.
Very true. See, onions for the win. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If you don't like onions, I don't trust you.
And a garden salad, it wins. Put onions in a garden salad. Oh yeah, and you got yourself a complete salad.
See,
no. Croutons in a garden salad. That's the win right there. Not no. Okay, all right. We're gonna be like disagreeing with each other. Like let's just agree to disagree on that. Okay, all right. So,
I think you don't understand the magic that you're missing.
True.
No,
True.
No, trust me. I'm good. All right, So to me,
Stir
it's
fries,
like
Asian food. Stir fries are famous for onions too. It's a lot of onions in the stir fries, especially when you get that fried rice and you cut up the green onion in it, because I make my fried rice homemade as well, and I cut up the green onion and it's so good. And stir fries are known for having onions in them. Korean barbecue, all that. Asians
All
love
right.
onions.
Okay. All right. And, okay. Besides all that. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, what are your favorite drinks? Like, Carley, I know you live out in Oklahoma. There has to be some good places to where you have some good drinks over there.
Like alcohol or just like
non-alcoholic or something like that, you know?
But see, I'm basic when it comes to that. I drink water, coffee with cream only, and unsweet iced tea.
Okay.
Mm.
Unless I'm having a cocktail.
Yeah, Shalese?
Yeah.
When it comes to drinks, I'm pretty basic myself. Like, when I go out to eat, I tend to only drink water when I go to restaurants. But I do tend to like juices. I'm into a good lemonade, a good cranberry juice, or a good citrus type juice. And when I have wine, I tend to buy my own. I go to the liquor store and buy my own. But like, very rarely do I go to a restaurant and drink. It's super rare when I do. But I gotta have my bubble tea though. I gotta have my Kung Fu honey jasmine with the aloe in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right then. Like boba tea or just some like juices though. I like lemonade. I sometimes have the sodas like the Sprite or something or like I've had the Coca-Cola Zero in the past. That was good, you know.
Yeah.
And I would have like the non-alcoholic Heineken as well as some non-alcoholic like stuff. You know,
wait, they have a non-alcoholic version?
Yeah, they have they have non-alcoholic drinks. Yeah. Like if you go to certain restaurants, you know, they have like the zero alcohol or lesser elements on it. You know, so.
And I don't know if this is where y'all are at, but a lot of like bars and breweries here too, you can get like it's not out, it doesn't have alcohol, but it'll have like CBD in it, like so like a seltzer, but it has like CBD in it instead of alcohol and stuff. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. I never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I go out to shows, though, it's like, you know, whether I go out to like a music show, like a blues show, or just like actually like a rock show or something like that, it's good to like go to these different venues and see that there's non-alcoholic options at these bars, really, you know. So, you know, because before it would be more of like either water or just like get some of the sodas or something like that, you know, like not like really like. Yeah, and I'm okay with it though. It's like I'm a person that, you know, this is just how I grew up, like being like, of course, religious and all that stuff, and being like, oh, I don't drink, and it's like I just kept up with that, you know, basically.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, even in my deconstruction, I kept up with that. So yeah.
Yeah. See, drinking, like I will have a drink once in a while, but I tend not to, because to be honest with you, I find them expensive, and that's why when I on a rare occasion when I do have like going out. To me, it's like, why would I go to the bar and pay $12 for a drink when I can go to the grocery store or the liquor store and buy it, you know, buy for that same price, half of that price, a whole bottle of it and have it for a year. Because an entire bottle of wine will last me a year. So why would I pay $12 for the same bottle? Why would I pay $12 at the bar for a glass when I can go and pay $6 for an entire bottle and then it'll last me a year? Like, I can't get behind that.
And what you do is, and what you do the same thing, Carley. Like, you know, when you're not working, like, would you go to the bar and then just like?
Well, I've never really been like too big a drinker, but I mean, I do enjoy a cocktail at dinner. You know, when I go out, I'm kind of the I you know, I will say so. I actually live in the country in Blanchard, so I'm like 30 minutes outside of Oklahoma City. And one thing that I don't like about going out into Oklahoma City and like drinking or whatever is they like have a tax here so that we can keep the Thunder NBA team. So they have like so you'll get like a drink, and like Shalese was saying, like it's like $12 for a drink, and then you have the regular tax, then you have the Oklahoma City liquor tax, then you have the Oklahoma City, and I'm like, oh, I don't even go to these basketball games. Like,
all these taxes for all these taxes.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like a $12 drink becomes closer to like $20, and I'm like, you know what? Never mind.
Wow.
I'll just go buy a bottle of wine and drink it at home.
Because really, Carly, it's almost as much as like, because I also volunteer at concerts, so whenever I do like volunteering stuff at like a Christian concert at an arena and also like whether it's in Orlando or in Tampa, it's interesting to see the drinks and see the prices almost as much as like the food prices there, and I
Yeah.
have to like watch my money because I'm always like watching my money and all because I have to pay
Mm.
for parking in the garage or something like that, or get a cheaper parking right across from the arena. And thinking like, if I pay this much, it's like a lot of money for that, because they always would have money up for a drink. Like even if I want to get a non-alcoholic Heineken, it's up to like $8 or something like that. And I have
Yeah.
to think like, well, I have enough to like get this type of food if I get that or something. So
Yeah.
it's just so sometimes I just save my money and be like, I'll just eat at home or something like that, or I'll just get just this and then just get something cheaper or some water or some soda if it's like $2 or $3 at times. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Very true. Yeah.
definitely.
Same thing with the movies. I love going to the movies. That's like my favorite thing to do. But I have that Regal member like reward point thing.
Mm.
Oh wow,
And
okay.
yeah, and it makes all the difference because like even popcorn now, like popcorn and like stuff at the movies is so expensive.
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah.
know, it's
And I'm just
ridiculous.
like, I know. I'm like, okay, the ticket, and then and I'm just like, it's $60 to go to the movies. Okay, that's crazy. And then
I
but
know.
so you rack up those membership reward points though, and you can get a popcorn for only like $2. So
Oh yeah, that's kind of interesting right there. Yeah, yeah. Carly, I saw online that you talked about there's a way to where you're able to, kind of like subside some of your depressive like triggers or something like that, and you do something called TMS. Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
yeah, TMS is short for transcranial electromagnetic stimulation therapy.
Mm.
Um in 2020, I think everyone had a difficult 2020. Um,
I'm
but
sure.
yeah, but in 2020, uh, so in 2018, I got West Nile neuroinvasive disease, and so I was sick for a really long time, and that gave me an advanced form of Hashimoto's, and then so in 2020 COVID was happening, and then I was getting really sick again, and then around my birthday that year I had to have a total neck dissection, and they ended up having to just take out my whole thyroid and some of the lymph nodes and stuff in my neck. And it was just like a really, I had been so sick for so long, which was really hard and depressing. And it was with like a rare disease. And a part of me was just like, of course, this would happen to me. I'd get bit by a mosquito and it would just screw up my entire life. And
Oh crap! Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and I was trying to, graduate college, finish
Yes.
college and do all these things. And, yeah, I just ended up in a really, really dark place and a really bad depression. And, you know, um, uh, it just got to a point that wasn't okay. And I was frustrated because I've been on like every antidepressant that there is and every anti anxiety medication that there is. And I started seeing these ads for TMS therapy. And so I just decided to see if I qualified for it. Cause it's not like a last resort, but it's kind of like a last resort. Like you can't just walk in and be like, I'd like TMS, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want you to, make sure you've tried other ways to manage your depression. And I was a candidate for it. And I got it for 2 months, and the process itself was overstimulating because it was like turning on the parts of my brain that the depression had kept off or whatever.
Mm.
But it has really helped me um, be able to manage my depression better. I don't take antidepressants anymore. I haven't since that therapy. And instead of, for me, I can only really ever speak for my own experience,
Mm.
but, you sort of get into a depression and
Yeah.
then you kind of lock in, um, because you don't even really realize that you're locked in. And then that sort of makes your suicidal ideation and ruminating just worse and worse and worse. And, you get to a point where, you genuinely, if you don't try, you want to, try not to be around anymore.
And there's been times even before you took the TMS thing to where you thought that maybe I should just end it all. Maybe I should just
Mm.
you know
I have not harmed myself since I've gotten it.
okay, like since
Okay.
you've gotten
Oh
it, so
wow.
it's really helped like subside those thoughts right there. Yeah. Mm.
Mm. See,
Um,
that's
it's
amazing.
helped me be, yeah, like when that, I know you said you don't have those triggers, Larnell, which again, I think is so great. You're so lucky. You're so lucky.
Lucky you.
Um, but yeah, but like Shalese, I know you said you do, and it's like, it's for me again, sometimes those thoughts are almost like happening against my will,
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and
Against our will.
yeah, the
We
TMS
can't control it.
and yeah, and depression too. Depression at times really feels against my will. Like
Yeah.
who wakes up in the morning and is like, today I'm gonna just think I'm a huge piece of crap and just not take care of myself and not want to get
Right.
out of bed. And I
Yeah.
maybe I should just walk into traffic.
And just to cut in there, Carly, like even for a person who has a friend, I'm sure like there's people watching or listening that are on the autistic spectrum that may have friends like male, female, non-binary, or AFAB or AMAB that could have those type of like things, but they don't know what to do. Because I know for me and my friend Shalese and co-host, like I
Hmm.
would get texts, and sometimes the way I would know that she's in a depressive state is if they're in all caps or something like that, and they just feel like just constant like, and I'm always trying to figure out how to be a good friend in that moment,
Mhm.
you know, because I don't want to do anything to like at times like I feel it set her off, because one type of trigger could be like, you know,
Mhm.
it could do something to where like she could either get mad or get even sad, because that's the funny thing about depression, Carly. It's just like and even for autistic people, it could seem like it could be almost like a stem or something like that. Because also too, like if it's okay for me to say, Shalise, like if it's okay for me to tell Carly, also Shalise goes through these rage stems and then throws things at times.
Yeah, I also a lot of the time still feel like right beneath the surface there's just an intense rage living inside of
Yeah.
me.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I try to find ways to let it out that are healthy.
Hmm.
um
Hmm.
Do,
but
do,
I
do,
think rage is a normal part of the human experience.
Oh, of course. Like, do you like
Hmm.
for you, Carly? I know that like Shalise does it through like at times music. That's how she can listen to Corn and listen to more like hard stuff. And
Yep,
for
yep.
you, is it kind of like music? Is it just like just doing some activities or something for you, or?
um uh, yeah, music.
See.
Uh, I will scream at the top of my lungs in my car. I feel
Oh,
like
see.
that's a great release.
Mm.
Great. I mean, it is. It's a great release. I mean, you
Oh,
have to get
wow.
those emotions out, you know. I will ask, you know, like my mom, for example, like I'll just sit there and talk up a storm to get it all out. I'm a big believer in therapy. I love therapy.
Mhm.
I think therapy is great because you're paying a professional to be in a safe space
To
for you to
unpack.
vent and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know that person legally can't say anything about what you're saying, so you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
um
that's the nice part about it.
I really, yeah, I relish that part of therapy. Being able to just like really express myself unfiltered, um, knowing that they're not going to say anything, you know, they
Because
Yeah.
can't.
they're just there to listen. You know,
Right.
they're not gonna debate you. They're just there to listen. Though it's not gonna be a debate or anything. So yeah.
Well, yeah, but you know, also I when I say I mean like they can't say anything, you know, like I mean think about, or at least for me, and I definitely used to surround myself with crap people. Which
Mhm.
I, you know, which I try not to do anymore.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you
Yeah.
yeah, you know, you vent or you know, talk to someone you think is trustworthy, that you think is there for you, and
Yeah.
then something happens and they turn around and they tell all your secrets or whatever,
And they
you
stab you in
know.
the back. You know, they're not
Yeah,
loyal or yeah.
yeah. Well, guess
Right.
what? Therapist isn't going to
Do
do
they
that.
show themselves to be effective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
you know, at times
Mm.
people, you know, everyone's coming from their own agenda, right?
Mhm.
Like, even if they don't mean to. This was like a big thing that helped me understand social interactions is when I realized, oh, okay, yeah, everyone has their own agenda, even if they're not aware of it. Like, we all have the POVs we're working from. You know, you can say stuff to
Mm.
people and they inadvertently give you bad advice, or they tell you what they would do and it isn't what you should do. And I think
Mm.
as an autistic person, I used to seek external validation
Yes.
and
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
external, yeah, yeah, like
Hmm.
before I would make up my own mind, I would seek out the opinion of 4 or 5 people and then be like,
Right.
okay, well, you know, what's the consensus of those 5 people? That's what I'm going
Mhm.
to do. And
Hmm.
sometimes what the consensus of those 4 or 5 people was not actually what was right for me
Yeah.
as a
But
Mm.
person.
because again, like
See.
there's nothing wrong with getting advice from different people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you don't want to do it to where like they become your crutch. You know, you want to use it to where when they're
Right.
advice givers, it's more of okay, what can I get from that person more so than just trying to be so clingy to where like, oh, I have to rely on this person. What can I do for them? It's almost like as much as being a Catholic and going to confession every Saturday. It's something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yes. It's like, oh, dear Father, please help me. I just can't understand what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. No, for real. Yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Yeah. So Carly, I don't know if you're like a spiritual person. Are you a spiritual person or you just no.
yeah, no, as a spiritual, sure. Not necessarily in that, like, you know, way. But I, you know,
Mm.
I definitely believe a higher power. I choose to not necessarily prescribe it to any
Mhm.
sort of specific thing. But I think that people who do, to each their own. Um, but yeah, no, I believe in something for sure. Too many things have happened to me that I'm just like, all right, something's got to be going on up there,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah.
So
Mm.
otherwise than that, Carly, how should people in terms of your documentary, how should people be able to support it in any way or know more about it?
We have an Instagram called Surviving the Spectrum, so just the name of the documentary.
Oh,
And
okay.
people, yeah, So people can follow that if they want. And my info is on there too. People are always more than welcome to reach out to me.
How would you tell an autistic person who's dealing with suicidality or dealing with, like, thoughts of depression, like what ways are you doing to like help autistic people in those type of sorts?
I think if someone is in an active crisis and they're seriously at that point, I think I would say I get it and I've been there,
Mm,
but just pick up the phone and call someone that you know cares about you, not someone you care about, someone that you know cares about you. And if you think that that is nobody, then you should call 988. Um, I
mm,
think that I think that mental illness really still has like such a stigma attached to it. But in reality, being autistic, a part of that experience is just being othered and having to figure out how to be
yeah.
okay with that. Life is harder.
Mhm,
We live in a
mm,
world that is not built for us, but kind of should be. Um, and so I think that that conversation is a great way to destigmatize. And I know for sure that there are communities online where autistic and neurodivergent people help each other. Um, and that's helped me. Um, and there's nothing wrong with being a freak. And I
Hmm.
think the real freaks are the people who refuse to accept that they're human and they're messy and they make mistakes and they try to be perfect and act like everything's fine. To me, those are people I don't want to be around. So I try
mm,
to lean into who I am, and I promise that there is a community somewhere out there for people where other neurodivergents are finding community. And I think that community with people who are like you can be life saving.
Hmm. Definitely. So you think they can also find it at the Autism Foundation if
Yeah,
they're
yep. I'm starting virtual socials. For that reason, so that more people who might not want to go out in public or live in rural areas can just hop online just like we are and chill. Um, and yeah, if you live in Oklahoma and you want to come to one of the socials that we do them monthly. And the whole point is for people who are like you to have a space where we can hang out and just be ourselves because that's important. And everyone else seems to get that, so we should have it too.
Yeah, definitely. And it's always important to have spaces because community really helps you feel like you're not alone. And the most important message, if you get anything else out of this like conversation, is that if you're autistic, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like just listen to the three of us.
mm,
Like, like me, Carly, and Shalese,
right.
like we're all three autistic people just trying to make it through as adults. Even in our disagreements though
Mm,
in food.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah.
exactly.
Definitely, definitely. But
mm.
Carly, thank you so much for coming on to the show, okay?
No, of course. It was so nice to see y'all again.
Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Autistic Delicatessen. Make sure you like and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel.
You can also find us on Instagram, so like us there and come leave us a comment. You can also find us on Spotify, leave us a comment there, and we would love your comments on YouTube as well. Until next time.
What's on your plate is hell